T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Coach on Fire Radio.
I am the tiger, dancing through the fire. I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar.
Hello and welcome to Sarah Shakespeare with Create a Life You Love. I hope that you're all having a wonderful day. Today, the guest on the show is going to be me, and I'm going to go through everything that you need to do to be motivated for the upcoming year. So I'm going to go through what you need to do as far as planning your workouts, planning your nutrition, going through different things that are going to help you as you're putting your year together. I'm going to go through goal setting, prioritizing goals, gym time, when to fit in outdoor activities. So anything that's going to help you create your year ahead, I'm going to be here today helping you with. So let me tell you a little bit about myself if you're not familiar with me, and this is the first time that you're listening. My name's Sarah Shakespeare, and as you can hear, I'm English, but I actually live in Canada. I moved to Canada in 2000, and I happily call it my millennium move. And I live in British Columbia, which is my dream destination to live in. I initially, when I moved to Canada, lived in Alberta for a few years. And then a few years ago, I moved to British Columbia, which I absolutely love. I do get to travel a lot, which is amazing. I really get a good opportunity to do that. And still, I love to come back to BC. It's just the perfect place for me to be. There's lots to do here. I live in a beautiful area, and it's lovely. So very, very happy to be an English girl in Canada. That's what I call myself very, very often. I'm married and have 3 daughters, and it's been a good few years. That's why I called my show Create a Life You Love, because I believe that everybody can create a wonderful life on their terms. So don't compare what you're doing to your brother or your neighbour or your auntie or anybody except what you want to achieve in life. So that is what my concept behind my show is. So anytime you hear me talking on my own on the show, anytime you can hear me talking on my show, you can always have the concept of creating a life that you love. So if you think about all of my guests that come on, every time you come away from that, you will know that you've learned something from that guest that will help you create a life you love. So if you're interested in coming onto my show as a guest, when I talk to you and go over everything, I always want my listeners to go away with more than they arrived with. So that's exactly what I try and do each time. And that's what I will be doing each time you're listening when it's just me on the show. So let's have a look at my background and what I've been doing. I've been in the fitness industry for over 25 years. And when I went into personal training many, many years ago, in 1993 actually, it was a brand new job and nobody knew exactly what personal training was. And they used to ask me about my job and say, look, like, what do you do? And I would always say, I help people with their nutrition, with their workouts, with decisions, with their life plans, everything to do to create a good life. And I got paid for it. So for me, it was my most ideal job to do. I enjoyed it. I also practiced what I preached. I really, really loved what I was doing. So for me to go to work every day, it actually didn't feel like work. It felt like I was being in an environment that I loved, because I loved the gym environment, and I got to see different people. So every single appointment that I did was different because I had different people, they had different goals, they had different lives. So it was a really, really interesting job for me to go into. So I've been doing it since I was 18 years old, and now I'm 44. So it's been a really, really great thing for me to be doing. I've loved definitely being part of people's lives and helping them change things and just helping them be accountable and stay on track with things when they've actually got a hold of what they were doing. Going through goal setting, as well with them was great because we sit down, we talk about what they'd like to achieve and how they're going to get there and what's going to hold them back. So lots of times I've really had to really go very intensely into people's lives, going more past the physical and the nutritional side of things. I've really gone into their personal side of things and helped them with that as well. I have been going to the gym since I was 17 years old, and I love it. As soon as I joined, I was very athletic at school, but as soon as I joined the gym, I really, really liked what I was doing, really loved it. And so that's why it became really important to me to expand into that being my everyday. So when I got the opportunity when I was 18 to be trained in the industry and have a job in a gym where I lived, I just jumped at the opportunity. I had my first daughter when I was 18. So I was a young mum, having lost some weight after the baby, and very enthusiastic and trying to find my way on what my career would be. As a teenager, I thought it would go way more towards, an office job. That's what I was going towards. And once I got into the gym environment, I knew that was the place for me to be because it just interested me so much. So that's what I've been doing. I've done lots of different things over the years regarding my fitness. I have done fitness competitions. So I am a fitness pro in my field there. I'm a figure pro actually. And I've won at a very, very high level and got my pro card on the fitness stage. I've also run many, many marathons. I do love running, and I've done half marathons, full marathons, and ultra marathons. So I'm going to be talking a little bit further on in the show today about getting ready for different competitions, getting ready for different types of events that you're going into. That's some in-depth conversation that we're going to have a bit later. So I've been into that. I'm very, very into exercising on a regular basis. I'm always exercising between 5 and 6 times a week. And it's become an everyday life thing for me to do. So as well as people saying, well, it's your job, you should look like that, you should feel like that. It's actually been a really great thing for me to do myself that I've loved. So it's actually been really, really easy for me to encourage people to do it because I definitely practice what I preach. Now, one thing I want to go over first is goal setting. Why do you want to set goals as you're starting into the new year? Well, one thing is, as you get to the end of the year, often you look at what you didn't get done in this year. So when you look back at 2017, have a good look at what you didn't achieve this year and have a look at the limitations that you got to and why they were set in your place and why they were put there, and you're going, okay, how can I get over these next year? So first of all, have a look at what you didn't achieve and you really still want to achieve in the upcoming year. So think about why you're setting the goals. Now, it might be that you've set the goal and it's just a continuation of the goal. So think about that. Think about your intention to why you have that as well. So have a think about the priorities in how you're going to be able to get those goals done. Think about what set you back before, and think about what is going to become in the way this year to do that. So I want you to write down what you'd like to achieve in the next year. And think about that and think, okay, I'd really like to do this. Sometimes you have to go longer and think about things in the next 5 years, because some things that you're doing in this year are going to be useful to you in the next 5 years. So goals have to start somewhere. Think about your long-term and your short-term goals that you would like to achieve. And again, you can't get everything done in 1 year, but it's a really, really good start. Really think about how you want to put things together and why. So once you've got those, that might be a fitness goal, it might be a nutrition goal, it might be a relationship goal, it might be a house goal, it may be a location goal, it may be volunteering in your community. That might be a goal that you have. Whatever you have a good reason and think about why you want to get that done. Then look at the priorities that you will have to put in place to do that. So think about, what do I need to let go? What can't I do at that time? And how important is it to me to get that done? So think about the priorities of the goal as well. How is it going to fit into your everyday life? How is that going to fit in? Because if you're taking it really, really seriously, you need to make sure that you put some space in that day for that. So if you're looking at a business goal and you already work full-time doing another job and you want to start your own business, think about how you're going to do that extra time. So if you're already working throughout the day, you're going to have to spend time early morning before your day job, evenings and weekends at working towards that. So think about how that's going to fit in. Think about also about your time commitments as well that you've got with your family, your friends, and other things that are already prioritizing. Think about that. So you have to set realistic goals. Think about your realistic goals and how you want those to come together for you. So write that down, look at the realistic goals, and give yourself that time to think about how they're going to fit in the everyday. So you've got your short-term goals and your long-term goals. So write down your short-term goals so you know exactly where you're going to be standing today and how they're going to fit in initially. And then look at where you're going to go in those long-term goals. Look at where you want that to go. What's your end game? So for instance, if you want to run a marathon and you've never even run 5K, then what you need to do is run 5K first. Still have it in the back of the mind that you're going to do the marathon, but think about how the 5K is going to be first. So look at that. Okay, done that race, great. Where's my 10K? Where's my half marathon? Where's my full marathon? Where's my ultra marathon? So think about the long scale of how you want things to be and think about how they're going to work for you. So always look at where you're standing today to where you want to go, because people are in different positions. So don't always think, oh, I don't want to do this. So-and-so is doing this. I'm doing that. Think about what you need to do and how you're going to get there. So look at that. Also, look at the financial side of different things. Think to yourself, okay, how much is it going to be for me to go into these marathons? How much is it going to be for me to go into these coaching? How much is it going to be for me to go and travel? If you want to travel more, really look at the background to why you're putting the goals together and how they're going to affect you on a day-to-day basis. So look at that. Now, limitations. I believe that there are no limitations to anything that we want to achieve. We just have to try and maneuver around those limitations that we've been given. So think about the limitations that you're given at the time of goal setting and how you can come and rise above those limitations and I think you're going to be able to succeed at that time. Also, it's so important to look at setting up accountability. Who are you going to tell about the goals? Are you going to get a personal trainer and work with them? Are you going to tell your sister? Are you going to tell your friend? Or do you have a lot of self-discipline where all you need to do is write it down and look back in your book, look back in your agenda on your phone, however you write notes and you keep them and you can look at them regularly, look back and say, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to do this. So really think about how important accountability is going through goal setting. So when people say, I've got this, goal to do that, think about every aspect of that goal. And if you work to succeed towards it, then it can be amazing. It really can. So think about your accountability. Who is going to ask you and say, hey, have you got that done? Or did you do this? I have been accountable for a lot of people and their goals. And by asking people and going over things with people, it really, really helps. And even if it actually comes to the point where you realize that maybe that goal was too big, when you're sharing that with somebody, you're able to assess at what level you should be doing that goal. So if you have to step back a few steps and go back into the middle ground where you're saying, okay, I need to do this now, then that's what you need to do. So look at the accountability and look at your limitations and then go ahead and make these goals. So that's what I want you to think of as you're going into the new year. What didn't you get done this year that you're so absolutely keen to get done? What do you want to achieve next year? And how will that affect you in the next 5 years? Now, what I'd like to also go over is workout planning. Now, a lot of people start the new year and the whole priority is about getting fitter, doing more. And again, it depends on what level you're starting at. So if you're already ultra fit, then you can definitely go to the next level. Now, when I did ultra marathons, I'd already ran a few full marathons. And while doing the full marathons, I thought that they stretched me to my full extent of my fitness because I thought, this is hard, it's 26 miles. But then I realized one day that I could do more. So I made it my business to go into a running club that I could join that had people that were running ultramarathons. I spoke to them, I asked them about their training, and I joined that group. And I was really able to put a lot of time and effort and get the right advice and talk about the nutrition that I needed. And then I've been able to do ultramarathons. So I've done ultramarathons that are 50K, 100K, 50 miles, 53 miles. Now, there's another one that I want to do actually, which is on my bucket list at some point in my life here, where it's 100 miles. So I would like to do that 100-mile race at some point. And it's all about training. It's about planning. It's about having a date in mind. So think, even if you're at a high level of fitness, there's always more. Now, when we backstep there and we go back to, if you're new to exercise, there's the most amazing things that you can do. So when you think about your workout planning, first of all, look at the time that you've got available in your week. So look at each day and look at each week. And see in that very first week what you can do. Now, I'm a big planner in wanting to plan out my month. So what you need to do is plan out your week and then say to yourself, okay, can I repeat this week next week? What other commitments do I have? So seriously look at each day so that you can realistically set up your workout plan. So think about how that's going to work. Also, if there's an event that you want to train towards, register for that event. So you've got that commitment at the back of your mind where you